Hello and welcome back to the bus. As you can see, it looks a little different. We finally have all the stuff out, and I'll tell you, once we got the overhead storage bins out and once we got the seats out, everything just moved along really quick. The overhead storage units were a pain in the butt. I didn't think we were going to get them all out at the dump. See the bathroom? It's still intact. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to get them all out. We ended up actually splitting them in half. There's a seam down the middle, and you'll find that the kind of foamy rubber part that's at the bottom of the storage bays as protection was basically there to it was overlapping the seam, so I basically unbolted everything. I just let it fall, so all the stuff was all down here, and just let it fall to the ground. And then we opened up this third window here at the dump. In this window, we just opened that puppy up, and then we had one person holding it open and two people lifting it out and then sliding the whole thing out, and we managed to get it all down. So that was pretty cool. And then the panels and everything. On our bus here, we had the carpet panels there on all the side, and you can see you have these little standoffs. These standoffs were for the carpet, so that gives us an extra inch on each side. Those were 1 inch standoffs. So today I'm going to start messing around with these rivets, and I'm actually going to try drilling them out. I know a lot of people, I also have a chisel just in case. I know a lot of people end up taking a grinder and just cutting the tops off. I'm going to try using a drill bit because I don't have power out here, and I don't want to put off getting a generator for a little bit, so I'm going to give that a shot. I'm going to start pulling down all this insulation. You can see everything that was up there. And I'm pretty happy with the frame. There's a little bit of rust, like you can see up in here. This is pretty close to the door seam, the little evacuation hatch there, and so you could see there's some rust damage, and I'll go through that. My plan is to get the fiberglass down and then make sure that all the frame is pretty well done up. I don't want a bunch of rust. Like here you could see some more rust. So I'll probably sand down the rust, replace any spots if necessary, and then I'll probably go over it with Rust-Oleum. For the most part, it's pretty nice. There's a little bit of foam adhesive here. It's good to put a barrier here because obviously this is going to conduct heat down, and it's going to be like a toaster in here, so it's good to get something over here. And I'm going to have a good time insulating this. I'm going to use a rigid foam board, a radiant barrier, and then maybe some thin foam to go over this. So we're going to have a fun time with that. The back panels here are still up. That's because they go into the bathroom, so I'll be pulling that apart. There were a few little things I probably should have shown you guys that made it a little tricky. Overall, not too bad. These little guys, these little brackets here, they're pretty funny to remove. So you can see this one I've already taken off. I've already taken off most of them. You can see down this side, they're almost all gone. Those little guys, you can see how this one's put on. So there's usually these black panels right here, and the black panel pretty much just sits on there like that and goes up. And so what you actually have to do to get these brackets off is take the black panel off. So unbolt it all the way off, and then you'll see the two little screws in here. Once you take those two screws off, this whole thing will just slide off. So take a hammer and tap one end, it'll slide off. And then you'll see a plate where there's 3 screws underneath. So like right here, you can see the 3 screw holes, and then the plate will come off. So if you take all that off, it's not going to do any harm. You can still close and lock these windows. These windows are all closed all the way. To get the panels off, I wanted to leave these windows intact. I'm not sure what we're going to do with them yet. So to get the panels off, all I did was take a Torx bit. I think it was like a T15 or 17 or something like that. And I just loosened up these top row of Torx bits, or Torx screws. Just loosened them up and then pulled the panel out and then tightened them up again. It was real simple work. All in all, not too bad. All the electrical from the overhead storage, I just cut all that out. So you can see over here, you know, I've got all these open wires. Battery is turned off right now. I have a lever to turn off the battery. So these are all, you know, dead wires, and I'll mess around with those later. Obviously there's some over here too, but those aren't connected to the battery because originally there was something that ran all the way across over here. So it's, you know, it's really not that big of a deal. And then it'll be nice to get the insulation out because we'll be able to see a few spots. Like here's a wire for a light, and here's a light here. So we'll probably get in there and replace the lights, maybe with some LEDs in there. Have a good time with that. So all in all, it's coming along. It's nice to have all the space in here. We measured it off. I'll go through all the exact measurements on paper later, because I know when I was looking for a bus, I was really curious, like what are the exact measurements inside, and never really found it anywhere. So we'll go over all our exact measurements on our little blog or whatever we end up doing. Obviously we still have one bench seat back here, which is kind of nice to relax back there every now and again. But yeah, we'll be going through all that. And then the other thing I'm going to try to get to is also down here. These little bastards. Yeah, those suck. I think that's a 0 drive, so that's what I picked up. And I'm going to try to take those out today. They're so full of gunk, they're hard to get to, so I'm hoping once I loosen them up I could use a bigger bit and just pull them all out. And then these guys also suck. Those ones, they're all pretty much in there. I took all the ones out that I could get out, but yeah, those kind of suck. So I'll try to get to those as well. I'm going to start with the rivets tonight, and then I'm going to probably go up to the insulation. I'm not sure yet. I don't like breathing in the insulation or anything, so I'm basically gonna, I got some goggles and some what do you call it, masks and whatnots, and I got some trash bags, so I'm gonna pull it all down, and it'll be nice to get that done with. It actually feels good in here right now. I'm surprised. Usually it's so freaking hot. It's been in the 80s and 90s here in Southern California, and wonderful, crowded, congested, hot Southern California. At least we still have water to drink for the time being. Yeah, maybe people will stop taking showers one of these days. Who knows? Anyhow, I'm gonna get to work. Hope you find some of this helpful, and I'll try to go over some of the more specific details either later on or as I'm doing it from here on out. It was just a whirlwind. Oh yeah, and people at the dump screwed me. That was great. It's like, I know they screwed me, but I was so tired. It was, I just let them, you know, just laid over, grabbed my ankles. It was just a pain in the butt because we're pulling all this stuff out, and they gave me tin value for everything. Didn't take into account any of the insulated wire I gave them, any of the other stuff. It was just tin value for everything, and they took a 40% reduction. They tried 50, and I, you know, haggled a little bit. I should have haggled more because they tried to tell me by weight that 40% of what I dropped off was trash, which is complete baloney, because most of the weight was the seats and the brackets and stuff, and those seats, you know, those cushions, basically they're telling me 40% of the weight, and those seats must be like 50 pounds or so. I didn't actually weigh one. I should. Maybe I will. I have one at home. And if they're 50 pounds, they're trying to tell me, you know, they're almost between 25 and 30 pounds for just the cushions. So yeah, basically they're full of shit at the recycling.